Hello, sixth graders. It's me, Mrs. James. Hey, cheers. Happy New Year to you. Um, Today, I'm going to help you with an assignment that you guys have to do. I was looking at some of the work that you might have to do when it comes to your OST test. I really don't talk a lot about the OST test because I don't want our classroom to always be about preparing for the OST. But there are going to be some really good things that can come from us getting prepared for the OST. One of the things that I really want to work with you sixth graders on is your writing. The lowest scores are the people who don't write enough, don't take their time writing. And we want to make sure that we do really well with writing. But sixth graders, let me tell you something. I was looking at one of the examples that they gave that was on the test back in 2016 and 17. And oh my gosh, let me just tell you, I was like, this is hard. I'm like, what are they even talking about? What is a mullet? But the good thing about it is that I was able to get a copy of it. And I'm going to try to help you with it. It's really not as hard as I originally thought it was. So please hold for 1 second because someone by the name of Emma is interrupting me and I will BRB. Yes, Emma. Do your best. We're all doing our best. Okay, so back to our assignment. I'm going to help you with it. I thought I was just going to give you guys this as your quiet entry. And then I thought, this is hard. You're going to need some help with this. But it's really not as hard as we think. So let's get our paper. We're going to read it together. We're going to highlight some important things, and we're going to do this as if we were taking the real OST test. I'm going to help you with this, and wait till you see what we're going to do with our essay when the time comes. This might be a part 2 video. All right. The first thing that we're going to do when we look at this, or when we get a question, we get a reading like this that comes up on our screen for the OST, is the first thing we're going to do is not say, that's too much. I can't do that. Listen, you can do anything for 2 hours. It's only 2 hours of your day in life. It's not hard. We're going to focus, we're going to lock in, and we're going to be able to do this. So there's 2 passages. This is one, and then there's 2. And you are going to have to use both of those passages and write a claim and write an essay about it. Don't worry, we can do it. So let's read it together. The first thing that we're going to do is not start reading, sixth graders. We are going to read the question. What I like to do is read the questions before I start reading the passage, because most of the time the passage is going to be boring. I'm just going to be honest with you. And I'm going to see what's it's asking me to do. So let's read the passage together. Let's get there. Okay. Prompt 2, it says, construct a multi-paragraph written response. Are you on that page? Get on that page if you're not there. Construct a multi-paragraph written response in which you make and support a claim about which author does a better job of introducing, illustrating, and elaborating the reasons mullets jump out of the water. Your response must be based on ideas and information that can be found in the source set. So let's do this. Let's first figure out what this question is asking us. I'm going to see if I can share my screen. If I can, I'm going to be so happy. Let's see. Come on. Come on. Wait, let's see. And I don't want to be up there. I want to be like a content creator. Like I'm super cool with it. Let's see. I want to be very cool. Oh, yes, yes, and yes, period. Okay. This is our passage. Let's go down to the question so we can look at that. All right, sixth graders, take a look here. Construct a multi-paragraph. Let's start with that. First of all, let's start with construct. What does construct mean? Sixth graders, it just means write. Why they got to put construct? They always want to sound so extra and so smart. Write. When you see somebody say construct a multi-paragraph written response, what that basically means is write an essay that is more than one paragraph. It doesn't got to be 10 paragraphs. It doesn't have to be 12. It doesn't even have to be 8. It can be like 5. Let's try to go for 5 paragraphs. Multi-paragraphs. Multi means multiple. All right, so we got write a multi-paragraph written response. We can even just cross that out. That just means essay, in which you make and support a claim. Now let's talk about claim, because we know what a claim is. It's just basically, what do you think? A claim is what you think. All right, so Write an essay in which you make and support a claim. Now, what do you have to make a claim about? A claim is my idea. So if the question is about, should teachers be able to have guns for protection, for student protection? My claim is absolutely not. I think absolutely not. Another person's claim might be absolutely yes. Your claim is what you think about the question that they're asking you. So you need to make a claim and you need to do what? Support that claim. Do you see what I'm doing here? Make a claim, support a claim. I'm going to try to get fancy here. Can I do it right here? So basically what you're going to do is write, all right, a multi-paragraph. Multi just means many, more than one. Let's say less than 8. Less than 8. You don't have to write a whole lot. All right. Write a written response. A written response is basically what? An essay. You've done that before. You know how to do that. So we're going to say a claim. This is important right here. Support a claim. You're going to make a claim and you're going to support the claim. So should teachers, some people think that teachers should be allowed to, oh, why did I do that? Come on, Miss James, you can do better than this. Can I just do Control Z? Yeah. Some people think that, yes, teachers should be able to carry guns. What if somebody comes in here on a lockdown drill and they're trying to hurt us? They should be able to have a gun. Some people say absolutely not, because you never know if a teacher is crazy, they're going to lose their mind, and then they're going to crash out on a student or on someone else or on themselves. People believe different things. My claim is what I think, and now I have to support my claim. I can't just tell people what I think. I have to support that claim. So what it's asking you to do is to write a claim about, I'm trying all these cool things, and I'm sorry. Okay, write a claim about what? What is this asking you to write a claim about? It's asking you to write a claim about which author does a better job of introducing, illustrating, and elaborating the reasons mullets jump out of the water. You must get your information from the source set. Now, some people are going to say, what is the source set? See what I'm talking about? How they do too much? They do way too much with these words. The source set, all that is the text that you just are about to read. Okay? So we are taking our time with this, sixth graders. Write because you got to know what it's asking you. Write a multi-paragraph essay in which you make a claim and support the claim. So the first thing we got to find out is, what is our claim going to be? Who does a better job? Passage 1 or passage 2? Which one does a good job and why? They introduce it to us because we don't know what a mullet is. They illustrate it and then they elaborate. What does elaborate mean? What in the world does elaborate mean? Well, let's talk about it. I'm not just going to say here that, excuse me, I'm just having too much fun with this, with these little colors. To elaborate means to explain more. I'm going to explain. If you said, Miss James, how was your day? How was your day? And I say, fine. And you said, elaborate. You would want me to tell you what was fine about my day. Mrs. James, what was one of your favorite Christmas presents that you got? And I said, oh, a pink water bottle. You would say, elaborate. And I would say, oh, I got this pink. It's all pink. It's hot pink. There's a certain pink that I like. Like me, I'm not a big fan of light pink. I love hot pink. That's this color. It's an aula. I love that I can drink out of it. Like this, it keeps my stuff cold. So now I'm giving you more explanations of why I'm elaborating. I'm explaining more. So now we know what we got to do. Now you might be thinking, okay, Ms. James, she's just yapping. No, I'm not. This right here, when you read what you have to do, that sets you up before you read. Because when you read the text now, you are going to read the text completely differently. You're going to read it looking for which author does a better job of introducing, illustrating, and elaborating. And then you're going to say why. You have to be able to say why. So as we read, we're looking for why. Let's read Let's go back and read it together. How about that? You have a copy here, but we're going to go back up and we are going to read it. I'm sorry, how do I get out of here? Oh, X, period. Okay. Oh, so maybe I can erase all of this. Hold on, everyone hold tight. Let's see if I can erase all this because I don't want it on when I scroll up. Okay, great. Now X, now let's scroll up again. Okay, now you have a highlighting feature on your OST test. So if you want to highlight like I'm going to do, but you can use a crayon, whatever you want to highlight on here. Let's do this together. Passage 1 from Why Do Mullet Leap? I didn't know I thought mullet was a haircut. Mullet are a type of fish found in coastal and tropical waters that is widely caught for food. Mullet are commonly seen leaping out of the water. Let me do a spotlight here while I'm reading. I'm sorry, I'm just getting used to all this like cute little stuff. And I don't want it, I want it to be like a pink, my color. All right. Mullet are commonly seen leaping out of the water. Why do they do this? Over the years, there have been numerous theories concerning the leaping of mullet. There seems to be two categories of leaping: predator avoidance and aerial respiration. I don't know what that is, but oh well. If I don't know what something is, there's nothing I can do about it when I'm testing, right? So I'm just going to keep going and maybe I'll get a full understanding of what I'm reading. This isn't the time to give up. Leaping to avoid predators usually involves more than one fish jumping simultaneously, retaining an upright posture and entering the water cleanly. Let's keep reading, because even if I don't exactly know and I read the whole thing, I might get an idea. The second type of leaping involves a single fish that does a slower, shorter leap, often flipping onto its side or even onto its back. They may also roll at the surface or move with their head above the water. Research suggests that sea mullet use this second category of movements to fill the pharyngeal. I don't even know what that is. The pharyngobranchial organ, an area at the back of the throat with air. This trapped air is believed to allow the fish to remain active in water of low oxygen concentration for about 5 minutes. Several interesting lines of evidence support this theory. The number of jumps is correlated with the concentration of oxygen in the water. The less oxygen, the more jumps. Secondly, sea mullet feed during the day, often in bottom sediments that have low oxygen concentrations. Jumping occurs much more commonly during the day. Sea mullet rarely jump at night. You see what I'm saying? So this is something that was on the test before, they said. Crazy, but I still can't just give up on myself. That's passage 1. Let me see passage 2. Passage 2 from Why Mullet Jump by Terry Gibson. Let's just see. Every Florida fishing guide wishes that he or she had a penny for every time a client asks them, why do mullet jump? We get asked this just about every trip. Mullet are one of the state's most ecologically and culturally important fish. Nearly every predator that anglers target in this state feeds on them, and adults help keep the bottom and water clean by feeding on decaying leaves and algae. Fried and smoked mullet have also been a cultural staple for Floridians, people who live in Florida. These bright silver fish exhibit a variety of behaviors near, at, and above the surface. One of the fish's behaviors is easily explained. When pursued by predators, entire schools go vaulting across the surface at great speeds and at low angles almost parallel to the surface. Schools, I know that that's schools of fish. You probably hear the commotion before you see it. The real mystery is why mullet seem to jump for joy or sport. Fish on any saltwater inland waterway in the state and in most large freshwater lakes, and you'll notice individuals leaping as high as 3 feet and falling onto their sides. Here's what I tell people. There are only theories. It's possible that mullet jump to shake off clinging parasites. It's possible that they jump during the spawning season to break open their egg sacs in preparation for the spawn. But Dr. Grant Gilmore, a renowned marine biologist from Vero Beach, has another interesting idea. Gilmore is fascinated by the sounds that fish and other marine organisms make, and he studies them using underwater microphones. Because they most often swim in dark or off color water, he wonders if they jump for the sake of letting others in the school know where they are. Interesting. Whew. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. This is like hard and confusing, but if this is on the test, I'm not gonna go out no punk. I'm not gonna give up on it. So here's what I can say. When it's asking me to think of my claim, which one does a better job, I am immediately going to say, which one are y'all going to say? Passage 1 or 2? For me, immediately number 2. Immediately number 2. So I know that my claim is that number 2 does a better job. So I might start my essay with, I don't even have any support yet. In my opinion, I believe, or I argue, that number 2, passage number 2, and I'm going to write the title from Why Mullet Jump by Terry Gibson, does a way better job than the first passage of introducing, illustrating, and elaborating the reasons mullets jump out of water. Now, if I'm going to write that, which I should, would do it in just a second, I need to go back and find information from this particular text that tells me why. That is going to be your job today. Why is this one better? And you can just write on the back. We don't have to write like a whole essay today, but why is number 2 better? For me, I think number 2 was easier to understand. That's one reason. And so I'm not just going to say it's easier to understand. I'm going to say if you really want someone to understand about mullets and why they jump, it has to be easy enough to read. I understand what they meant. Also, they gave, let's see what else. No, I'm not going to tell you. You are going to see if you can figure that out. I want you to go through and highlight supporting evidence for this claim. Does that make sense? I hope so. I am going to stop yapping for now. You're going to figure out, looking here, why do you think number 2? And so some of you might say, Ms. James, I thought number 1 was more important, did a better job. Don't matter. We're going to all say number 2, and we're going to all figure out what is our support. Which one does a better job of introducing, illustrating, and elaborating the reasons? All right, 6th graders, let's do this. Oh, wait, stop share and see you guys later. Never mind. I forgot what I was going to say.